everyone! Who here has ever played the victim card? That's a very tempting mindset to fall into, but there are two problems with that you may not have realized before. First, playing the victim doesn't really remove responsibility. It's just an illusion that feels good and might get other people to feel sorry for us. Second, even though it does not remove responsibility, what it does remove is our power. Or I should say, it removes our ability to see and therefore use the power that we do have. You see, part of being a victim is about being powerless. We must believe that our thoughts, choices, and actions really make a difference, because if we don't believe that, then there's no point in taking any type of action or making any kind of choice, because it's not going to make a difference anyway. Now, you might be saying,
I've seen people play the victim before, and they get people rooting for them and helping them. It's a power move to get others to help you.
Now, that's definitely true, and there's definitely something to be said of social power, but whenever we analyze it, it actually is not quite as clear-cut as it might look. In times when someone really is a victim, say a victim of abuse, a bank crash, or any other freak circumstance outside of their control, it's acceptable, ethically and socially, to reach out for help. People who are real victims truly do not have the ability to get what they need when they need it. Being a true victim and having a victim mentality, not the same thing. People have the victim mentality, did have the power to make better choices, or they just decided this morning that they felt like complaining today, even whenever they really don't have any right to, because maybe their circumstances are not as bad as they say, maybe they caused them, maybe they are currently causing these situations. They act like everything happens to them and do not acknowledge the part that they played in what is currently happening. Now, people who do this do receive help sometimes, but did you see how they are actually surrendering their power, even though it looks like they are getting social power on their side? When they depend upon other people, whenever they themselves can do something differently to help themselves, then they are putting the power that they could put on themselves and giving it to other people. The power really resides in other people choosing to help them. Now, for someone who's a real victim, that's okay because they really can't help themselves. There was something beyond their control. But if people do have that power in their own court and then they depend on other people, they're giving that power that they have to somebody else because they're ignoring what they could do. And if they continue with this ongoing victim mindset, they are very likely to get these people who help them to start seeing through them and start saying, no, I don't think I'm going to keep helping you because you need to start helping yourself. So even though, yes, maybe they do have social power for a time, it's very, very likely that as time goes on, if victim mentality mantra continues, they're going to lose that social power. The point is, there will always be things that we cannot control, and there will always be things that we can control. The more time we spend focusing on what we can't control and can't do, the less time and energy we have to focus on what we can control and do. It limits us. The victim mentality makes us a victim of our very own mindset, which is extremely sad. Here's an example from my own life, and it will give you an illustration of what this looks like. I'm trying to grow on YouTube. For a while, the algorithm was just treating me terribly, and I did not know why. I didn't even have much time to do a lot of research because I'm so busy trying to make content I feel is up to par quality-wise. I fell into a very bad victim mentality, complaining about the algorithm and how it treated me, but I recently found out that one of my best friends is also getting into YouTube. He's not as focused on content creation. He knows the business side way more than I do. He has been showing me the ropes, and I'm now getting less and less of that victim mentality. I'm still working on it, my goodness. Thank you to him, by the way, for helping me out. I really appreciate this. I'm finding time and making time for the business side of it to really learn the algorithm. I'm realizing there were a lot of ways here and there that I was wasting time, or at least not using the time to its fullest potential. It was only once I stopped wallowing in this victim mentality that I was able to open my eyes. I'm seeing so many more possibilities. How can I grow? How can I connect to my subscribers more? How can I use the algorithm to my advantage? How can I help other people on this platform? It's going to take some time to implement some of these, but I would not have all these possibilities at my disposal if I had remained in that victim mentality. I want to be an overcomer, not a victim. When something goes wrong, it can really hurt our pride to say, maybe I could have done something differently. Maybe if I had just done this or done that, maybe I could be doing this or I could be doing that. But really, as ironic as this sounds, and as much as it goes against our feelings, we want it to be our fault, and here's why. If we did something to cause this, then we can do something to uncause it. Now, we may still struggle with past mistakes, past circumstances, past consequences, but going into the future, we don't have to keep making the same mistake. Maybe we caused something this time, but we don't have to cause it another time. If there was something that happened when there was nothing you could do and is absolutely no fault of your own, that's when it's scary, because that means that it could happen again, and once again, you can't do anything to change it. But before we get down like a really negative rabbit hole, I will say that it's lucky that even circumstances that we really didn't have a fault in per se, we can still learn from those. It doesn't mean we were wrong in the past, but maybe we're more well-informed now. So even freak circumstances can be opportunities for growth if we are willing to see those. So please do not play the victim. Take off the blinders of the victim mentality, because they are going to blind you from the awareness and the power that you actually have at your fingertips. And I really want to emphasize again, if you are being abused, no one should say that that's your fault. Who you are and what you did is no excuse for anyone to abuse you. Luckily, even though abuse is not your fault, it does not mean that you have to remain powerless going forward. I created a mini-series about abuse that can help if you or someone you love is struggling with it. I will link it right here. I hope this knowledge helps you start living nothing less than your best life. Goodbye, hug!